Norwegian scene started right off the bat with Executor when he replaced second in the CPL Europe Cologne with Spirit of Amiga, a Danish team. He was then recruited by Ninjas in Pajamas to join them in 2001. During that year, he won CPL London and CPL Winter. An internal rift happened shortly after, and he was ousted from NIP. He then joined Game Online with a couple of Swedish players, got third within a couple of weeks. A year later, in 2002, a certain player called Element was in a local Norwegian team, Meridia, grinding and becoming a professional player. He was watching the last CPL finals from his basement. Now he has finally got a chance to compete against the Swedish giant SK Gaming when Game Online noticed and recruited him. At the same time, Executor was standing in for Nordic Division and won the CPL Cologne event. Element, on the other hand, came through the field like a soaring thunder, placing runner-ups in the CPL summer and winter of that year, only being beaten by Team 3D and SK Gaming respectively. This would also be a trend, as we would later find out. A few weeks later, Element would later on form the team Eolithic with the Norwegian players from Spacebar, which stars the likes of Damien, Nikon, Knoxville, and Luke, but left out their in-game leader BSL, which we will see also become a critical component of the Norwegian scene later on. They had an impact on the scene immediately by winning CPL Europe Oslo. Element would later on be replaced by Executor, as the two had not met eye and eye with each other with the addition of the former Quake professional player Dark. They were upset by Team Zex during the ESWC finals, when Sunman won the shot around the world on train, arguably one of the clutchest moments in CS history, and went out in 8th. A month later, in the beginning of 2003, they would bounce back from their loss by winning CPL clan-based Eurocup finals. A few months later, Element would return to this epic lineup and rejoin along with Executor and placed second in Click Arena and winning the qualifiers for ESWC Sweden. Unfortunately, with sponsorship problems and promises unfulfilled, the team had to disband, as the lack of funding meant they couldn't travel for events. This will be the final time a full Norwegian team would be able to compete with the top teams in Counter-Strike. After this event, never will again a fully fledged Norwegian team be as good as they are mixed with the Swedes, placing runner-ups, get third and below, or winning one event then disappear after. After breaking apart from Eolithic, Element went on to win mostly everything in 2003 with the Swedish giant SK Gaming, and would seal them as arguably one of the best teams in CS history. However, Executor was also enjoying relative success elsewhere by placing first and second in ESWC and CPL Summer respectively.
All I'm home, aka Element, and I think we just played a game that we're supposed to, just following our tactics.
This fragmentation produced a mixed American and Norwegian lineup in the form of NOA, which was ironically led by BSL. Following him were Nikon and Knoxville from the previous Eolithic lineup, Shegwar from Zex that had upsetted the earlier Eolithic, and Mikey Method So in Gamers X. Like Eolithic before, they raised a few eyeballs. See what I did there, guys? And impressed in CPL Winter and placed second behind Element's SK Gaming. In 2004, team made a judgment call and decided to remove BSL from the starting lineup, stating he was one of the weak links. For the second time in history, BSL have been removed from a team started. They brought in Element, who accepted the offer to join this team, as he was feeling lack of challenge and motivation after winning everything previously. A few weeks later, Knoxville was removed and then replaced by Executor. The team was now set to go on undefeated runs like Eolitic. Unfortunately, what had happened was they immediately bombed out of CPL summer, placing 9th to 12th that year. The struggle would continue throughout the year until they finally made a break in the CPL winter by coming from the losers bracket and win. The lower bracket, not the losers bracket, by beating the top team that year, Eyeballers.
Team NOA, are you ready?
Yeah!
Team Eyeballers, you ready? Okay, live on 3.
One big
Got him! Woo! Funny.
I'm smoking.
One's on the right, I think.
On the right? See on the right? No!
I'm watching right side mid.
That's how we roll, baby!
So what was the score? Like,
Team NOA becomes the first team in CPL history to come from the losers bracket and win.
Lower bracket!
Lower bracket.
Not the loser bracket!
And win the CPL championship. Please a big hand for our champion, Team NOA.
In 2005, they went on to win the WEG Wagmasters Season 1. This time, surely they will continue the winning streak. Like Eolitic did, right? Wrong. They immediately disbanded as everyone went their separate ways. Element got tired of winning again and joined several other teams that year, including Myburg United 5 and others. Executor remained to form a Swedish mixed Norwegian team. Nikon went out a few months later and became teamless. Shagor and Method went to Team 3D. This year would prove to be a massive challenge for the fragmented Norwegian scene. Then a young prodigy emerged from the scene just as Element did all those years ago. It was Sondre Real Savanovic. He was Norway's monster fragger and immediately impressed along with the all-Norwegian lineup Team 9 during the CPL UK event and upset NIP in the finals and won the overall event. This team featured an all-young Norwegian squad of Jungle Bobo, Zion, PRB, and Oops, together with Real. PSL, on the other hand, was managing a team called Catch Gamer by winning it, as it was doing great too by winning CPL Turkey and placing 2nd and 3rd in Wagmasters Season 2 and CPL UK respectively, as NOA struggled to keep the lineup together, which saw many players leaving and joining. In the beginning of 2006, Team 9 would go their own separate ways, with Jungle Bobo retiring, PRB and Zion to Executors NOA, along with Hot Prospect, Zodic and HBX, whilst Real and Oops went on to Cage Gamer. Executors NOA would begin with a win against Fnatic in SHG Open. Cage Gamer would place 3rd in WEG Season 3, upsetting SK Gaming 16-0 Inferno match, whilst Element had a runner-up year together with Move placing 2nd in most events they had entered. Another shuffle was approaching as Cage Gamer disbanded. in the middle of the year, and their roster, and we would see one of the last times an all Norwegian team placed high in a Counter-Strike event or major. This meant that some of the players went to the new organization, Meet Your Makers, which now featured Element, PRB, Real, Juvenile, and Zion. They later on placed second in the CPL Winter 2006, just below and losing to the emerging Swedish giants of Fnatic. 2007 would mark an end of an era. By this point, PSL and Executor had already retired, and their highest finish MYM got was third in SEC 2007, but got fourth or lower in other events. By the end of the year, half of the squad either retired, went to Source, or elsewhere. Real, the sole torchbearer of the Executor and Element era, went missing, as there were no Norwegians around to compete together with and take on the scene. Only in 2009 where a young prospect called Kale entered the scene, but there were not enough good Norwegian players like the early days. This was the end of the promising Norwegian scene. The influence of Norwegian scene could be seen almost everywhere, as Element had been in North America helping out teams like United 5. Myber was led by Element and BSL at one point. Dark had been in GamerCo and Four Kings, while Executor was developing the Danish scene along with Zonic. In modern times, you could see familiarities in Rain or Chicane mixing with European or Oceanic players, but we would never again see a top all Norwegian team playing ever again.